You're building your first online course, and there's one question you can't stop asking. How long should it be? Welcome to Course Creation for Solopreneurs. I'm Dr. Curtis Satterfield, and I've spent 17 years as an educator and course designer helping thousands of students learn new skills. Now, I help solopreneurs like you create courses that actually transform your students and grow your business. Let's get into it. You've searched for answers, and maybe you even bought a course creation program hoping they tell you, but nobody gives you a straight answer. After 17 years as an educator, online course designer, and helping thousands of people learn new skills, I'm going to give you real numbers in this video, actual guidelines you can use. But I'm also going to tell you something that might frustrate you at first. But by the end, you'll understand why it's actually the most freeing thing you'll hear about course length. Here are 4 course length realities no one talks about, and they directly affect whether your course succeeds or fails. Let me tell you about someone I know really well. Her name is Heather. Heather wanted to create her first online course. She had the expertise. She had people asking her for help. She knew she could deliver results. But she was stuck on this exact question. How long should the course be? She kept comparing herself to what she thought the gold standard courses looked like. Courses with dozens of modules, hours and hours of content, workbooks and templates, and bonus material stacked on top of each other. She thought if she wanted to charge a premium price, she needed to create something massive. Otherwise, people would think they weren't getting enough value. So she did what a lot of first-time course creators do. She bought a $2,000 course creation program, Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy. She figured they'd teach her exactly how to structure her course, how long to make it, what to include. But here's what she found. The program was 90% marketing and launching. Sales funnels, webinar scripts, all that stuff. Almost nothing about the actual course itself. How to structure lessons, how long they should be, and what makes the course actually work for students. It didn't help her at all, so she got a refund. And that experience revealed something important. Something most course creation programs won't tell you. When you pack your course with content to justify your price, you're not creating more value. You're creating more reasons for your students not to finish. And when students don't finish, they don't get the transformation, which means they don't give you the social proof you need to market your course. Your business actually suffers because you tried to give them too much. That's reality number 1, the myth that more content equals more value. It's not just wrong, it's the reason so many courses fail. So if more content doesn't equal more value, what does? Let me tell you about a course I ran a few years ago. I designed it as a 6-week course with 1 live session per week. Each session was about an hour with some questions and answers afterwards. That's it. 6 hours of content total. I charged $6.97 for it. And the students were makers, people who create physical products that wanted to sell more of what they made. Now, I could have packed that course with content. I could have made it 40 hours long and charged twice as much. But I didn't, because none of the extra content would have gotten them to the transformation any faster. It just would have given them more reasons to feel overwhelmed and quit before they got results. Instead, I gave them exactly what they needed to get from where they were to where they wanted to be. Nothing more, nothing less. And you know what happened? Every single person in that course had a massive transformation. By the end of those 6 weeks, every one of them had significantly increased their sales. Your course is worth what the transformation is worth to your ideal student. If you can help someone double their income, that's valuable, whether it takes 6 hours or 60 hours to teach. In fact, if you can deliver that transformation in 6 hours instead of 60, that's more valuable because you're respecting their time while getting them the result. That's reality number 2. The transformation determines the value, not the length. So how do you figure out the right length? Stop asking how long my course should be and start asking, what's the shortest path to the transformation I'm promising? But I know that still feels vague. You came here for numbers, so let me give you some guidelines. But before I give you any numbers, I need you to understand something. The right length for your course depends entirely on who you're building it for. A course for busy executives needs to be different than a course for college students with time on their hands. A course teaching a complex technical skill needs to be different than a course teaching a simple mindset shift. So when I give you these numbers, think of them as starting points, not rules carved in stone. Let's start with modules. You might be tempted to create a dozen modules because you think it makes your course look more valuable. But here's what actually happens. Your students open the course, sees 12 or 15 modules stacked up and thinks, when am I ever going to finish all this? That overwhelm means they're less likely to even start. On the other hand, if you only have 2 modules, they might wonder what they're actually getting. The sweet spot? Aim for 3 to 7 modules, enough to feel valuable, not so much that it feels impossible to complete. Now, what about lessons within each module? The same principle applies. If someone opens a module and sees 25 lessons inside, that's intimidating. They'll put it off. And if there's only 2 lessons, they might be thinking, is this module complete? Again, 3 to 7 lessons per module gives you room to cover what's needed without overwhelming your students. And here's a warning sign. If you find yourself with 20 or 30 lessons crammed into a single module, that's a red flag. Either that module is actually multiple modules, or you're including content that doesn't need to be there. Finally, lesson length. Don't chop everything into 2-minute micro lessons. You'll end up with 40 tiny fragments that feel scattered and hard to follow. Your students will spend more time clicking next than actually learning. And don't record 2-hour marathon lectures either. Nobody's going to sit through that. Even if they start it, they're not going to finish. Most lessons land somewhere between 8 and 20 minutes. But remember what I said at the start. It depends on your audience and what you're teaching. A complex demonstration may need 25 or 30 minutes, sometimes more. A quick concept might need only 5. Let the outcome of the lesson guide the length. So now you have real numbers. 3 to 7 modules, 3 to 7 lessons per module, somewhere between 8 and 20 minutes per lesson, avoiding the extremes. But you might still be thinking, okay, but what's the right answer for my specific course? And that brings me to reality number 4. Remember Heather from the beginning of the video, the one who thought she needed to build something massive to compete with the gold standard courses? After she got that refund from Digital Course Academy, we sat down and talked through what she was actually trying to help her students achieve. Not how much content she could create, not how to compete with courses that had dozens of modules, just what transformation did her students need? Once she got clear on that, she realized her course didn't need to be massive at all. She built something focused and streamlined, and when she launched it for $697, she sold out all 10 spots. 2 months later, she raised the price to $997 and sold out again. Not because it was long, because it delivered results. But here's the thing. I couldn't tell Heather exactly how long her course should be. She had to figure that out herself, and that used to frustrate me too. Recently, I was training for a 100-mile ultramarathon. I knew I wouldn't be able to run the entire distance. Hobby runners like myself, we need a run-walk strategy. You run for a certain distance or time, then you walk for a bit to recover, then you run again. So I asked my coach to give me a strategy. Tell me exactly when to run and when to walk. And he said something that really frustrated me. He said, I can't give you a strategy because it depends on you and how you feel on race day. You have to work it out for yourself during the race. I wanted him to just tell me what to do. Give me the numbers, run for 10 minutes, walk for 2, something concrete I could follow. But here's the thing. If he had given me hard numbers and I went in trying to follow them exactly, I probably would have burned out too quickly and not finished the race. Or I might have walked too much when I had more energy to give. The only way to get it right was to pay attention to my own body, my own energy levels, and adjust as I went. Course length works the same way. I can give you guidelines, but the right length for your course depends on your transformation, your audience, and your teaching style. And you have to figure that out through the process of building it. That's reality number 4, and here's why it's actually freeing instead of frustrating. It means you don't have to hit some arbitrary number to have a real course. You don't have to pad your content to reach 10 hours because you think that's what courses are supposed to be. Your course needs to be exactly as long as it takes to deliver the transformation, not a minute longer. Because people don't pay for course length, they pay for the transformation it provides. Thanks for listening. If this episode helped you, take a second to subscribe and leave a review. It's the best way to support the show. Also, be sure to check the show notes for any links and resources mentioned in this episode. Now go create a course that transforms.